Hi, good day everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss Safe Spaces Act or RA 11313. The sources of this video are the law itself and the implementing rules and regulation which was promulgated by the government agencies. In this video, I'm going to use English Tagalog so that we can accommodate or give more access to a wider scope of audience. And this video is also somehow particular or customized to an audience that are working class, and especially as requested, those that are working in the hotel and restaurant industry. So we will not really dwell on each slides, but we will focus on those things that I've just mentioned a while ago. So before we look at the law, let's first look at the meaning of the word safe space. According to the dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary, a safe space is a place or situation in which you are protected from harm or danger. So I believe it's not just really a place, a physical place, but it's also a state of mind. It's a situation. The absence of certain circumstances as well as the presence of certain security around you. And the why of the law, no? Bakit importante na meron tayong safe space or having that sense of safe space? Why is it important? Well, it all boils down to stress, no? Because science say that when we feel safe and secure, our bodies produce less cortisol. So the med students or those in medical field can testify or can say that this chemical is a stress hormone and that it leads to lower quality of life, mental health, etc. And the effects of stress includes physiological, such as sleep disturbances, digestive problems, muscular tension. It also has long-term effects to our health that is not desirable. Also behavioral changes. So all in all, these bad effects are correlated with having not having a safe space, kumbaga. So kung wala tayong safe space, it all, kumbaga, domino effect. Meron siyang domino effect to all the other aspects of our lives. And the role of the law is to ensure that there is peace. Now, that's why one of the original designation of courts is that justice of the peace. No, tinatawag yung mga courts as courts of first instance or justice of the peace, because a law is equivalent to having peace, no, peace of mind, peace in the society, peace in the community. So let's go now to this law, what we call as the Anti-Bastos Law or the Safe Spaces Act. So Anti-Bastos Law is the Tagalog term that would make it more understandable to the population. So it is a law in the Philippines that defines and penalizes gender-based sexual harassment in various settings. So yung focus ng law na ito is gender-based sexual harassment. I think there's another speaker in this class, no, that talked about sexual harassment under Article 78, Republic Act 7877. So, medyo magkahawig ang dalawang law na ito, but there's a subtle difference. There's different focus, no, sa dalawang law. Yung law na ito, yung Anti-Bastos Law, focuses on gender-based sexual harassment and public places and cyberspace. So, yan yung dalawang main focus nito. While the anti-sexual harassment law focuses on the abuse of power. So, yung mga boss, yung mga teacher na inaabuso nila yung kanilang moral ascendancy, kumbaga yung kanilang authority to take sexual advantage with their students or their workers. However, itong anti-bastos law, it covers yung acts sa street, sa public, which we will learn later yung anong apat, no, ano yung four main avenues or places na sakop ng anti-bastos law. Also, the aim of this law is to value human dignity by ensuring the equality and safety for all genders in public and private spaces. So let's begin by first defining what is gender-based sexual harassment. So from the word itself, no, harassment, sexual harassment, that means unwanted. Hinaharas ka, meaning ayaw mo ang ginagawa sa'yo. Also, it does not just cover actions. It does not just cover actions, but it also covers remarks, words. So it's both actions and words that you do not want to be done to you. And hindi lang siya basta-basta words, no? Hindi lang basta sinabihan ka lang na, for example, pangit, pandak, no? It has to be sexual in nature. It has to be something related to your gender. Okay? And we know that in our classes, it has been, kumaga, they had distinguished sex and gender. Well, there's only two sexes, but some argue that there are a lot of genders, many genders. But for the sake of this discussion, let's just associate that into the state of a person's sexual attractions, no, or his expressions of his or her or their, no, to be politically correct, their gender. So using that ideology, no, to be gender neutral, so may mga ganung idea, no. So even the Supreme Court has released this gender based etiquette and gender fair language, no, just to mention that, to recognize that that notion, that idea that the different sexes must be respected. And the key characteristics of sexual harassment, number one is unwanted, as we said, and then gender-based, and then sexual in nature, and also very important, there must be an impact, no, an impact which means that it causes mental, emotional, or psychological distress. So hindi covered yung mga syempre, not to mention yung ginagawa ng magkasintahan, because in the first place that's not unwanted, and also it does not cause impact or negative impact, since that is wanted in a sense. And needless to say, you know, ang gender or sexual harassment, gender-based harassment, can also come, no, from the use of language that is construed, no, or treated as harassment din. So sabi ng Supreme Court sa AM number 211125 SC as of February 22, no, as we have said kanina, they have the use of words that ridicule on the basis of sex, gender, or sexual orientation, identity, and or expression must be avoided to promote equality and respect for human dignity. So this is also one of the strategic plans of the Supreme Court to give more access to the courts, no? Kasi pag ginadisrespect mo yung mga iba't ibang sexual orientation or sex, you are also giving people reasons not to trust the court, and therefore not to access the court especially when they need it the most. So one of the very first institutions to advocate for a gender fair language is no other than the Supreme Court. So respect, no, for human dignity. And of course, nire-recognize din natin yung mga disagreements that may come from religious groups, from people of faith. But it all boils down again to the idea that every human being is to be respected. And if we borrow the language from religion, from Christianity, for example, every man is an image of God, and therefore each man deserves to be respected. Now, in Espejon versus Loredo, this is an example of harassment, no, or gender-based discrimination per se. Kasi sa case na to, this is a case against a judge, no, na nagkaroon ng gin-sanction siya ng Supreme Court because ininsulto niya yung parties based on their sexual orientation. So I'll just read a portion of this case. Sabi ng judge or sabi ng court, sabi niya mag-ano ba kayo? Sabi ng sabi ng party, magkasama kami sa bahay. And then sabi ng judge, magpinsan? Sabi niya, hindi kami magpinsan, magkaibigan po. Sabi ng judge, kayong dalawa. Oo, kasi yung tita ko po nasa taas po. Sabi ng judge, wala naman kayong relationship na yung bawal sa Bible, sexual relationship. Wala nang bading sa inyong dalawa, di ba? Ay, wala po, sir. Sabi ng judge, ba't parang bading to? Bading ka? Sir, siguro po wala namang perfectong tao sa mundo. So sabi ng judge, hindi, bading ka. So yung mga statements ng judge na yon, sabi ng kinondemn yun ng, kumbaga, that was subjected to sanctions by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court called out this judge, and in fact, this case was meant to address that gender-based, kumbaga, bias or prejudice to the parties. So, let's go now to the law. Ano yung apat na lugar or apat na spaces na covered ng Safe Spaces Act? Na layunin ng batas na ito na kung saan magkakaroon sana ng safe space. So, number one, una-una talaga yung public spaces or yung mga streets, etc. So, when you say public spaces, it covers various locations such as streets, malls, buildings, bars, evacuation centers, public markets, transport PUVs, no, or mga transport vehicles na ginagamit na, for example, jeep, and those that use app-based transport network services. In short, mga Grab, mga yung motor angkas, no, public washrooms. It also covers privately owned spaces that are open to public. And of course, these are businesses, restaurants, casinos, resorts, internet shops, hotels, water parks, cafes. So, ito yung covered ng public spaces, and this is covered by the law. Meaning, the anti-bastos law covers this act. So, may kasabihan tayong ignorance of the law excuses no one. So, pag ikaw ay may-ari ng restaurant at sinabi mong hindi mo alam ang anti-bastos law, then it does not excuse you because ignorance of the law excuses no one. So, ano yung mga dapat gawin, no, sa mga public spaces? Ano yung mga hindi dapat gawin? So, number one, sabi ng law, bawal yung catcalling, wolf whistling, and other unwanted remarks. Ano yung catcalling? Catcalling, yung sa picture na to, yung usually, naalala ko dito yung nung kabataan natin. I don't know if someone of you can relate. If you are watching the Palibhasa Lalaki, no? If you listen to the lyrics of the song Palibhasa Lalaki, hindi ko na isa-isahin, but, you know, there's some, hindi ko naman sinabing may catcalling doon, but somehow there's this, expression of let's say admiration or attraction to the opposite sex. So yun na lang, no. But if you add to it whistling or expressing remarks that are unwanted by the opposite sex, for example, then that can be classified as catcalling or wolf whistling. And by the way, yung Safe Spaces Act, hindi lang yan yung kumbaga pinagbabawal sa mga lalaki. It may also cover yung victims ay hindi lang babae but also lalaki. So it may come from a woman or it may come from another man. Okay? So that's catcalling. And then number two, misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, and sexist slurs. Yung binasa natin kanina, yung case against a judge, that may fall under the transphobic or maybe homophobic slurs, no? And when we say slurs, it's insults, yung may tono ng pangiinsulto that expresses strong hatred, prejudice against women. So when you say prejudice against women, that's misogynistic. And then transsexuals, that's transphobics, LGBTQ members, and other individuals on the basis of their sex alone. So hindi mo siya ininsulto base sa kanyang ginawang masama, but iniinsulto mo siya dahil sa kanyang sex. No? And then number 3, relentless requests for personal details. Hindi lang, syempre hindi yung requests, but relentless request. Yung ayaw ibigay sa iyo, pero you still relentlessly pursue, and that is tantamount to a violation of Safe Spaces Act. Number 4, persistent unwanted comments or gestures about a person's appearance. Number, I think it's 5 or 6, statements of sexual comments and suggestions. 7, public masturbation or flashing of private parts. This can be called as or identified as exhibitionism, that exposes unwanted, exposes nudity to the public. Number 8, groping. So ano yung groping? I researched the meaning of this word, and it means touching, pinching, or brushing against the genitalia, face, arms, etc. So hinawakan mo yung private part. So this is usually common sa mga public places like LRTs, nakita natin sa mga balita, MRTs, and maybe even restaurants or crowded places like concerts. Number 9, stalking. Of course, stalking, as it's a very common term, but to define it means repeated visual or physical proximity, non-consensual communication, or a combination of these things. The keyword there is non-consensual. Pag ayaw sa'yo, wag mo nang pilitin, wag ka nang magpumilit, kasi pag pinilit mo yan, that may be considered as stalking. This conduct causes or is likely to cause a person to fear for their own safety. So meron siyang result na natatakot na sa iyo or nagkakaroon na ng emotional distress ang sinostalk na tao. Number 10, intrusive gazing and staring. So you keep staring the person with your eyes or with your presence, na-intimidate na siya. And then use of words, gestures, or actions that ridicule based on sex, gender. So still the same. Number 12, telling of sexual jokes, use of sexual names, comments, and demands. Number 13, any advances, whether verbal or physical, and that are unwanted. Again, the keyword is unwanted, and there must be the result of threat. So, ang remedies, it first boils down to the establishment itself. Pag ito ay nangyayari sa hotel or sa mall, then the mall should first should not tolerate such gender-based harassment, and then provide assistance pag may mga victim na cry out or nag-ask for assistance or help. And then, if the court would request for the CCTV footage, the establishment must participate and provide support for the victims. Also, installing warning signs against this type of harassment. Designate at least one officer, anti-sexual harassment officer, to receive complaints, and that security guards must be briefed and deputized to apprehend perpetrators. Meron ding responsibilities ang ating local governments, which I will not read na lang, but it all boils down also to having a complaint desk, and that is usually referred to as Women and Children's Protection Desk that you can find in your local governments, in the city hall, or maybe in the police station. Meron diyang women's desk or children's desk. Sa sa city or sa barangay, usually meron ding anti-sexual harassment officer that is appointed or designated to deal or to specialize on these types of situations. So we go to the penalties. We start with verbal harassment, which has lower range of penalties. Hindi ko nababasahin lahat. And then also penalties for offensive gestures or exposure of body parts, and penalties for stalking or touching, unwanted touching of private body parts. Now, Meron ding story, Joseph and Potiphar's wife, sa Bible, Genesis 39, 6 to 10. Now Joseph was built and handsome, and after a while his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." But Joseph refused. "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in this house. Everything he owns he has entrusted to him." Kumbaga, this is an example, an ancient example din of harassment. And dito, ang biktima ay lalaki. No? And what did Joseph say? "How then could I do such wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph every day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. So, kahit pala nung una pa lang, meron ng acts ito, no? And then we go to the second space, and that is cyberspace. Any online platform or medium using information and communication technology. Bibilisan ko lang ito kasi yung mas focus natin in this video is the workplace setting. However, very familiar din siguro ang lahat sa atin or marami sa atin sa online type of harassment that causes emotional, mental, or psychological distress. Actions that use cell phones, iPhones, mobile phones, computers that intimidate victims through different kinds of threats. So ano-ano yung mga forms? Unwanted sexual remarks, threats, of course, without prejudice sa other types of crimes under the revised penal code, such as grave threats or other forms na covered ng ibang law. Uploading or sharing photos without consent, video and audio recordings without consent, and cyber stalking. So ito pala, covered din ito ng Safe Spaces Act. And then, just to define cyber stalking, it involves repeated conduct directed at a person, including non-consensual communication that causes emotional distress. So katulad din siya ng stalking, but this time hindi yung perpetrator follow physically or visually, but the perpetrator is using the cyber world. So, nagchat-chat, gumagawa ng dummy account, na alam mo na siya yun. So, this can fall under the definition of cyber stalking. Other forms of online harassment is online identity theft. Usually they call this they call this dump account, dump account, or some may call it alter, incessant messaging, posting lies about victims, filing false abuse reports. Kumbaga, pinagtulungan yung i-report not because it's doing something violative of the policy ng platform, but dahil ayaw nyo lang sa kanya. So that can also be a form of harassment. So ito yung importante, I think, sa section na to. Saan ka mag-file ng complaint? Well, the law says, Section 14, you go to the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. Or, pwede ka rin mag-coordinate sa Department of Information and Communications Technology or DICT. And they can be easily researched online or searched online. So, ang Anti-Cybercrime Group ng PNP, I looked it up and it has a cell phone number. It has an address that you can go to sa Camp Crame, or you can call this number. Well, of course, before you go there, you must or you should take a screenshot, take the website link or the account, or you can contact them through Facebook. I saw this Facebook page of PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group. There are emails there. There are handles. May cell phone number dito, Smart Globe. May email that you can easily reach out to, I believe. So you can screenshot this, and in case you need this, then you know where to or who to contact to. What are the penalties? Hindi ko na isa-isahin, but the penalties can reach up to 4 years. Cyber harassment. Cyber sexual harassment. Now, let's go to the workplace. Ano ba yung workplace? Well, it's any location where work is being undertaken and it may even be outside the workplace as long as it is within the kumbaga the control or the direction of the employer. And it also includes both formal and informal work settings. So informal, kasama siguro dito yung mga sa sari-sari store, for example, mga freelancers, yung mga artista, yung hindi under sa employer-employee relationship, yung under sa contractual, independent contracts. Jason sa case, no? Jason sa case, hindi siya employee, but he is an independent contractor. So those are these are still covered by the workplace space provision under the cybercrime law. Now, may isang case na naka-experience yung employee ng sexual harassment. Although this did not discuss Cyber Safe Spaces Act, but it discussed instead sexual harassment. This is the case of LBC Express versus Monica Palco. Hindi ko na babasahin dito, but ang nangyari dito is she was an employee and her boss, so her supervisor, made sexually suggestive behaviors against her. So, very descriptive dito yung case. Hinawakan yung kamay niya, begin pull yung bra strap niya, nagjo-joke sa kanya, nagagawa siya ng baby, halikan siya, attempted kiss, jokes na may sexual overtones na obviously ayaw niya na ginagawa sa kanya. So, under the guise of jokes, no, but it was actually half meant. Binibigyan siya ng chocolates kahit walang okasyon. And Monica reported this to the LBC management, but LBC did not take immediate action. So to make it short, sabi ng court, under the Republic Act 7877, employers are required to take immediate action. So tandaan, sa workplace, once there is already actions or forms of sexual harassment and the victim is already feeling threatened, or there is already the creation of a hostile atmosphere. Yan yung wordings ng law or ng court. Pag may sexual harassment, it always leads to a hostile environment, meaning may tension, may lust, may fear, may threat, and the workers usually cannot work properly. And in this case, she resigned, no? And the court ultimately held LBC solidarily liable with the perpetrator sa supervisor. So kumbaga, liable din ang employer kung hindi siya nag-immediately take action. Sabi ni Justice Leonen, ang kinakabahala natin as a society is the lack of empathy, concern, or responsiveness to the victims or to the situation where there's sexual harassment. Parang binabrush off lang usually sa past, no, in the past. And yung malala pa is many times victims are being blamed. Parang kung sa atin pa ngayon, it's kinagaslight pa, no? Parang pag ikaw na yung biktima, ikaw pa yung sinisisi. And you are being compelled to accept that it is just the way things are. Kaya ganyan naman tayo patriarchal o ganyan naman talaga yan kasi ganito ka manamit, ganito ka. So, according to Justice Leonen, there should be a raised awareness on that prevalence of sexual harassment culture. And that's why this case highlighted these kinds of acts, and it held LBC liable together with the perpetrator. RA 7877, as quoted by this case, it defines sexual harassment. No, it is committed by an employer, employee, manager, supervisor, agent, or any other person who has authority, influence, or moral ascendancy. As mentioned kanina, sa law na ito, sexual harassment is kinocommit siya ng taong may posisyon sa taas, no? higher position committed against a lower position. A person in a lower position. Kumbaga, ang pinapunish ng law na ito ay yung abuse of authority. But again, to mention, Safe Spaces Act is even more, kumbaga, inclusive. It covers acts that may be done by employees to their employers. So kahit rank and file ka lang at ikaw ay gumawa ng gender-based harassment sa iyong boss, hindi ka mafa-filean under RA 7877 but makakasuhan ka under the Safe Spaces Act. Okay, you may be held liable not by this 7877 but by Safe Spaces Act. Now, another example of AAA versus De Los Reyes, sexual harassment occurs when a woman is forced to continue working or to remain in a particular position because she has no choice. Because if she does not consent to sexual advances, she risks being fired. So, sa case na to, syempre, nangangailangan siya ng trabaho. Kaya lang, inaharas siya. Pero, kailangan niya mabuhay. Kailangan niya magka-income. So, tiniis niya lang niya. She just kept silent. And that is a very classical example of sexual harassment in the workplace. So pag ganyan, always remember na meron na tayong batas na nagpo-provide ng remedies, steps, accountability. Again, forms of harassment under Safe Spaces Act. So yung kanina, ang target noon or yung notion ng 7877 is abuse of authority. Ito naman, wala. Kahit walang authority, no? Basta may unwelcome sexual advances, demands for sexual favors, acts of sexual nature, conduct based on sex, affecting the dignity of a person, creating an intimidating, hostile, or humiliating environment. Basta yung keyword is unwelcome and pervasive. And there must be an effect that there is a resulting threat, intimidation, or humiliation. Again, to mention, kahit ang perpetrator ay isang rank and file or lower employee, at yung victim is a manager or boss, applicable pa rin yung Safe Spaces Act. So ito yung chart. Hindi ko na siya babasahin, but this is a chart that distinguishes the difference between RA 7877 or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 and the newer law, which is Safe Spaces Act. The law, which is Safe Spaces Act, provides for the duties of the employers, which is, of course, to prevent, to disseminate information, and provide a grievance procedure. That includes a committee, no, na kumbaga may hearing din. There should be a committee that should hear the case if there's a complaint. At sabi ng law, ang committee na ito must be headed by a woman. Of course, because para walang bias, kasi diniscuss din ito sa isang case na it's mostly women that suffer abuse, no, or harassment. And the law requires na yung committee na ito must be 50% or more, no, women, must have members that at least half of them should be women. Now, may duty din yung co-workers at employees to refrain, to discourage such conducts, to provide support if there are victims, and to report. So pag hindi mo ni-report, well, you can also be held liable. Liability of employers, andyan lang yan, hindi ko na babasahin, but it ranges up to 15,000 pesos. No, liable din yung employer na hindi nag-take action, hindi nag-hearing, hindi nag-hold ng committee, at hindi siya nag-take action. And then, meron din, sabi ng law, there's routine inspections from the DOLE for the private sector and for the public sector Civil Service Commission to make spontaneous surprise inspections to ensure compliance. So usually siguro saan yung officer nyo, sino yung member ng committee na mag-imbestiga just in case there are complaints, ano yung procedures. So if you are in a workplace in the Philippines, you might want to ask your company about this. Sino yung point person, kanino ka magre-report in case there's a issue that you want to report about sexual harassment. Now, education and training spaces, since for time constraints, I'll just read this very fast. No? So sa education and training spaces, it covers not just schools, but wherever there is training. So that might be TESDA. So the forms of harassment are similar with workplace sexual harassment, and then there are duties of schools. Okay, the same sa employers. There must also be a committee or an officer in charge. There must be a CODI as well, no? CODI, Committee on Decorum and Investigation. There must be an impartial there must be impartial heads, officers, and members that will decide the case or the matter. And then also there's routine inspections from DepEd, CHED, TESDA. There's also liability for schools na hindi mag-comply. Okay, as well as the school heads will also be held responsible. So to summarize, it all boils down also to where to seek assistance. So dito, I took a screenshot from the Philippine Commission on Women. Ito yung mga kung saan ka pwedeng maghanap or humingi ng tulong. In all cases, it's with the local government. LGU with the hotline. Of course, police precinct with the women's desk. Social welfare or DSWD. PAO, Public Attorney's Office. Sa streets, for the demands ng immediacy, you can directly ask for the local traffic enforcer if there is any. LTO. Also, if you are in a mall, you can go to the office and ask for the anti-sexual harassment officer. Okay, so there it is. And as we close, let me read this quote from the case of Calubacquib versus Sandigan Bayan. The ideal situation is for the law's benefit to be available to all, that none be placed outside the sphere of its coverage. Only thus could chance and favor be excluded, and the affairs of men governed by that serene and impartial uniformity which is of the very essence of the idea of law. So yung idea again ng law na ito is where people that are disadvantaged can have justice in a sense and can be saved from harassment and can attain peace in their daily lives. Equality before the law is not literal and mathematical but relative and practical. That is necessarily so because human beings are not born equal and do not all start in life from scratch. Many have handicaps, material, physical, or intellectual. This is from People versus Kwan, 1942. And that's why they say that the law is the greatest equalizer. And if you feel that you are in an unequal ground, remember that the law is on your side. This is what the statement says. This is the end of our video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, feel free to comment or reach out. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.